Joining me now is author and political commentator Shamika Michelle.
When God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife.
If you always do what you've always done, you will always get what you've always done.
Happy Wednesday. Welcome to Shaking My Head with Shamika Michelle. I am your host, Shamika Michelle. Ladies, let's be honest. The moment a man sets a boundary, too many women scream, control! But is it really control or is it protection? Today we're breaking down the difference, and I guarantee some of you are not going to like what you hear. Remember to hit like, share. If you want to support, super chats are always open. Who do we have here today? Let's see. Hi, Earl Grey the Bay. Hi, Asino. You answered the poll, so I can close it. Hi, Bernice. That's Janet Jackson, right? Control. Yeah. Now I got a lot. Woo! Control. Yes. That was actually one of my favorite songs. I couldn't wait to turn 18 because when she was 17, she did what people told her, right? So I couldn't wait to be 18, to be grown. Thank y'all for joining me today. The topic today for today's show is he controlling you or protecting you? My phone was ringing, so that shows that there's somebody that's supposed to be my friend that don't know it's after 2:00 and I'm doing my show. Is he controlling you or protecting you? Questions. Ladies, can you tell the difference between a man protecting you and a man controlling you? Fellas, do you think women confuse protection with control on purpose? Does she use that, oh, you're trying to control me, against you, to manipulate you, to get you to back up, to get you to feel like your boundaries are wrong? And where's the line for you? What's respect and what's insecurity? Let me play this video with you, for you. I know Sharisa says we love our videos, so let's play this video. Let's hear what this lady has to say about boundaries.
If he tries to dictate what you wear, where you go, who you can see, what friendships you can have, when you can visit your family, when you can go to school, when you can start that business, when you can read that book, when you can go to sleep, when you can eat, when you can fill in the blank, that is a very controlling person, and that is probably borderline abuse. If he
Well, listen, some of what she said, I would say she has a point. If he can control when you eat, when you go to sleep. But what I noticed is she did exactly what I asked fellas. Do you think ladies holler control on purpose? She did exactly that by going to the extreme. I totally believe that a man can tell you where to go and where not to go, especially if when you're there and something pop off, you're going to expect him to show up and handle things for you and what you wear. But this is exactly what so many women do. Hello, Thomas. Hello, Sharisa. Hello, Alicia. This is what so many women do. They holler control to get you to back up. We need to examine today boundaries versus insecurity. A boundary is a line that marks the limits of an area, a dividing line. Insecure is a person not confident or assured, uncertain or anxious. So here's the example. A man doesn't want you posting half naked pictures online. Is that insecurity or him protecting his image and relationship? Men and women, drop the answer in the chat. A man doesn't want you posting half naked pictures. Is that protection or insecurity? Because a lot of women will holler, it's insecurity. He says, I don't want you leaving the house half dressed. She hears, you're controlling me. Reality, he doesn't want his woman looking cheap or drawing disrespect. Now, this is something that we hear a lot. And the woman in the video said, if he's telling you what you can wear, he's controlling. Ladies, you have to understand, number one, men don't want everybody looking at what they feel is theirs. This isn't about control. Now, let's say I decide, I'm going to use myself as an example. I decide I want to go out the house. I'm going hanging with my friends. Where are we going? I don't know. We're going to a bar. We're going to a club with a bar. My butt cheeks are hanging out, right? He says, I don't want you wearing that. But then I say, you ain't my daddy. You're not the boss of me. You can't tell me what to do. But while I'm out at this club with the bar, there are men, or this one particular man, he's been drinking most of the night. And my butt cheek that's hanging out is starting to look real good to him. He wants to touch it. He wants to see if my skin is soft. He wants to see if my butt cheek, if it shake, if he tap it a little bit. So my butt cheek is hanging out. No, it doesn't give the man the right, but I just said he's been drinking all night, which means, he might have, as my former teacher would say, he might have lost control of his senses, taken a leave of his senses. So he goes, want to tap my butt, see if it jiggled just right. Now what? I'm mad. I feel disrespected. I need to get on the phone now and call my man for him to come down there and do something. But I put myself in that situation, and I put him in a situation to have to come and defend me when I could have not had my butt cheeks hanging out to start with. Because as a woman, what am I going to do? Now, granted, there are men who will be disrespectful regardless of what you have on. I'm not talking about that. But I am talking about understanding that you're leaving the home dressed any kind of way, putting yourself on display. You could be asking for disrespect. And if you have a good man, he's always going to want to protect you. Now, what if he comes down to that club and get his ass whooped? I'm talking about whooped, not whipped, whooped. You could have avoided all of that by just going out, acting like you have some sense and some class, and just covered up. You're not going out with your man. You're not on a date. He hasn't said, oh, this is what I want you to put on. This is you saying, I have a man at home, but I'm going to put myself on display for all of these other men. Why? Why would you do that? That's not insecure. That's not your man not being confident or assured. If he's saying, I don't want you wearing this, that is a boundary for protection. It's a boundary for protection. You want him to protect you? That's the least you could do is give him, it's not even the least. What you owe him is respect. Protection versus possession. Protection is to keep safe from harm or injury. Possession is the state of having, owning, or controlling something. This is more protection. Now, mind you, if he feels like you belong to him, he's going to protect you. He's going to keep you safe. This necklace that I have on, it's one of my favorite pieces of jewelry. It's a 2-carat heart. This is something that's valuable to me. I've had it almost 30 years. When I take it off, I know exactly where I put it. I don't wear it in certain places. I don't wear it around certain people. And when I take it off, I don't just toss it to the side. It's valuable to me. Somebody can't just pick up the phone and say, yeah, you know that heart necklace you had, that diamond necklace? Let me wear that. Let me borrow that. No, because it's valuable. I'm not going to put it in the hands of everybody. Another example, when you go to jewelry stores, if there's a piece of jewelry that you want to try on, certain stores, you have to give them your license. And they put it in the case and they hold it until you give them back that piece of jewelry that you just tried on, because that's valuable to them. So when a man feels like you are valuable to him, he wants to protect you. And sometimes that protection, ladies, unlike the woman in the video telling you he's controlling or the idea that he's insecure, what he's doing is protecting his asset. He's protecting his assets. This is what we do when we find value in something. How a woman responds to her man's boundaries says everything about whether she respects him or sees him as competition. We talked about this yesterday. Wanting to stand toe to toe and compete with the man is a masculine behavior. Respect, the definition for respect is due regard for feelings, wishes, rights, or traditions of others. If you have regard for your man's feelings, for your man's safety and well-being, you won't just put him in situations that you don't have to put him in. That's unnecessary. Remember when we said yesterday how many times a woman will let her mouth put her man in a bad predicament? What you stop him for? Just don't know how to shut up. Sometimes y'all don't know how to leave the house and take guidance from this man that you want to protect and provide for you. He says no twerking, no thirst traps, no DMs with random men. She hears, you're insecure. Really, he's protecting his image, his household, and the relationship's integrity. Why do you feel like you need to be setting thirst traps online? Didn't you already catch something? Or are you looking to replace what you have? Why do you need to have these conversations in your DMs with random men? Talking about random things. As somebody in the public eye, I get a lot of DMs. Typically, it's just people sending me stuff that they want me to see, or they feel like perhaps they want me to talk about, or maybe news that I have missed. I would like to tell those people, most of the time, I've already seen it. Many times, you are sending me the same thing that 10 other people have sent. I know you mean well, but it's typically why you get ignored. It's a lot. Okay? It's a lot. Thank you, but sometimes it's a lot. And then not only that, if I happen to respond to whatever you sent me, people will try to strike up conversation. I don't have time to converse with everybody in my DMs. I don't have time, nor am I interested in having conversation with everybody in my DM. I wouldn't have time to talk to my kids, talk to my friends, call my mother. Y'all know how much social media can soak up your time or suck up your time? But ladies, why do you feel like you need to set thirst traps if you already have a man? I would go as far to say, even if you don't have a man, what type of man will you be bringing in by setting a thirst trap on social media? He's not like, it depends on what you want. If you're just looking for a good time, if you are trying to use social media as your corner, little Miss Prostitute, then maybe you want to put that type of stuff out there on social media. But if you are actually interested in a real relationship, a thirst trap is not going to bring the right type of man. It's not. It is not going to bring that type of man. So if you are in a relationship and your man is saying, no, I don't want a woman putting out thirst traps, that's not insecurity. That's him setting a boundary for your relationship. The same way you don't want him having random conversations in his DMs with other women. That's not insecurity, ladies. It should be common sense, but it's not. So that's why we're here. That's why we're having this little chat, because it's not common sense. I was having a conversation with, he's technically my cousin, but he calls me aunt, because I'm a little bit older, just a smidget. But he was telling me about a woman who will post pictures of her man, maybe not showing his face, but then will also be telling him in his DMs how cute she thinks he is, how sexy he is, how much she wants him. You have a whole woman. I mean, a whole man. You have a whole man. Why are you doing this, lady? And what message do you think you are showing to him? He's not going to take you seriously. He's not going to be thinking, oh, well, maybe she'll leave him and be my woman. He is not going to take you seriously. He's going to see you as someone setting a thirst trap, and he's going to quench his thirst and be gone. He's going to get what he needs and be out of there. Ladies, am I lying? Men, am I lying? Do you look at that and say, oh, this may be my wife? Friend groups. He says, I don't like you hanging around single girlfriends who are in the streets. She hears, you're isolating me. The reality, he's protecting her from bad influences and environments. Been there. Been there. Keyword, single girlfriends who are in the streets. If he knows she's for everybody, she is jumping around, jump around, jump around, jump around, jump up and get down. Nobody wants that. Jump, jump, jump. Everybody jump. He already know that. So he may not want you hanging around that friend who is in the streets. It's not really about her being single. It's about how she carries herself, what her name, how her name may be in the streets, and he don't want you coupled with that. Sally is a hoe. Sally, oh, Sally easy. All you got to do is buy Sally dinner, and Sally, you know what I'm saying? She going to go home with you. All you got to do is show Sally a little bit of money. Sally going home with you. He's not going to want Shamika with Sally if that's the way people are talking about Sally in the streets. And if you think men don't talk, they do. There are men who talk, ladies. Some of y'all are in group chats and don't even know it. Some of you are in group chats as the easy one, as the one that give good head. I'm sorry, I'm being very honest. You're in group chats and don't even know it. So when your man, me, Shamika, when he says, I don't want you to end up in a group chat because Sally is a hoe, I wonder if Shamika's a hoe too. They hang together. They always together. When Sally be out in the streets picking up her next victim, Shamika right there, grinning, teeth out, just hanging out her mouth. I wonder if she's that way. When the man says, no, Sally in the streets, Sally for everybody. I don't want you in certain settings with Sally. That's not insecurity. That's protection. He's setting a boundary to protect the relationship. And we heard last week from the men that women are very empathetic. So my thought could be, well, Sally's a good person. She's fun. She has a good sense of humor. We laugh when we're together. Sally's just, she's single. She just, doing her thing. Women, we are very empathetic. May be hard to say, yeah, Sally being a little bit hoish. But it is up to that man to put those guardrails up, as we talked about last week, so that you don't drive off the road and look crazy and ruin his image and yours because of your empathy and just understanding Sally. He says, text me when you get home, or don't walk alone at night, or you got your that thing with you. She hears you're trying to control my every move. In reality, he's just looking out for your safety. Again, if something happens to you and this man finds you valuable, he's going to want to protect you. He's going to want to come and make sure you're okay. If somebody does something to you, he's going to want to do something to them. It's not him trying to control your every move. So many times we love to know where he is, what he's doing, when he's doing it. But when it comes back the other way, we yell control on purpose. He says, let's agree on big purchases before spending. She hears, you don't trust me with money. In reality, he's protecting their financial stability and future. We're talking about people in relationships. Control versus insecurity. Is it a boundary or is it an insecurity? Is it a boundary put in place for protection? Or is he just insecure? What did Jennifer Hudson? She had a whole song about it. Yeah, I don't like living under your spotlight. Just because you think I might find somebody worthy. Well, were you looking, Jennifer? You had a man at home already. Better be careful what we be listening to. They'll lead us down the wrong path. Let's see what y'all are saying in the chat. Are y'all answering the poll? I'm going to ask in a minute what the poll is saying. Bernice Cross says most confuse it because they have never seen protection from a father. Absolutely. So when they holler, you ain't my daddy, they really sometimes mean that because daddy won't around. So they don't know what it's supposed to look like. Daddy chucked the deuces, went out for milk and never came home. So she means you ain't her daddy. Sharisa wanted y'all to know that it was not her calling. It wasn't. Hi, Variant Viewpoint. Thank you for being here. Hola, Miguel. Khalees says protection is doing what's in their best interest. Control is doing what's in yours. Yes. That girl smart. You is smart. You is important. Protection is doing what's in their best interest. Control is doing what's in yours. Yes. So if he's doing what's in your best interest, ladies, he's protecting you. And sometimes it is in his best interest because he ain't got time to be coming fighting because you out wanting to be a fool. Earl Grey to Bay, what about if he doesn't want you wearing your hair a certain way or wearing makeup? You see how bareface I be getting up here? Earl Grey to Bay. I feel like, I don't know, for the last 12 years, I have only attracted men who don't want me in makeup. And now that I'm older, I'm kind of fine with it because if I put on a face full of foundation, like you see in those pictures, I feel aged. It's like the makeup just go sit in every wrinkle. It is, you wanna put on a face full of makeup, Imma just sit in every wrinkle. But I think, how I don't see the problem in, him having a favorite hairstyle and he wants you to do that. "Oh, can you put your hair in that favorite style that I love?" But I do also feel like it would be nice if he understands sometimes I don't wanna have to do my hair, so I'm gonna, do something a little different just so I can, breathe. 'Cause I like my afro too, but my afro don't always be afroing, nor do I feel like afroing it. Men, answer Earl Grey to Bay. What about if he doesn't want you wearing your hair in a certain way or wearing makeup? I don't have a problem. You still think I'm beautiful? I'm fine with that without it. Now this hair, just give me, if I wear my hair 90% of the time like you preferred, I feel like you can give me a little 10% sometimes to have a break. Men, answer her. My man hates when I wear wigs and or makeup. I probably hate when you wear a wig too, and I ain't even your man. Most of the time they are ugly. I don't know about yours. But most women do not understand how ugly those wigs are. Even if you have the so-called lace front, like we can see the glue. We can see it lifting up around the edge. It's ugly. Sorry, Earl Grey to Bay. You know I love you. I don't know if yours are cute or ugly, but a lot of times they are ugly. I have listened to him, but I like wigs and makeup. Send me a picture of that wig and let's see whose side I take. His or yours. Miguel said if she's going out exposing a lot, that's not going to work. And I don't even see the purpose. What's the purpose? If you have a man, he's sitting at home, he's waiting on you. What are you doing? Are you trying to catch somebody that's out? Because you can still look nice and not be overexposed. You don't have to be showing all your skin, having your butt cheeks hanging out. The club seems like a setup. Going around drunk, horny men with just your homegirls and your smallest outfit doesn't seem smart or safe. Absolutely. And what's the purpose? When you are actually with the person that you desire, what is the point? Hey, Lotus Flower, you said 89% said controlling. What was the question again? I almost forgot. When a man sets boundaries, what do women most often label it as? Ugh. 89% say controlling. Ladies, we walking around here just thinking he wants to be controlling. We must be giving a whole lot of you ain't my daddy. You can't tell me what to do. We must be giving a whole lot of that. Men, FYI, men are biologically predisposed to be attracted to a woman's hips and breasts to ensure hood offspring. Why you had to say hood, Thomas? Just saying. Yes. And so if you're putting it on display, he's going to look. And if you already have a man, why do you need him to look at you? in that way. Now, granted, I feel like, I be hitting the gym sometimes, and I just can't hide all this God has blessed me with. But I can definitely not have it hanging out. Sometimes the class, ladies, is very attractive. Try it. Try putting your brain first. Try putting your brain first. I said that a lot of people DM me, they're attracted to the way that I think. They don't know. I could be sitting behind this microphone, fat, out of shape, in a girdle. Well, they don't call them girdles anymore, do they? Waist trainer. I could be sitting in a waist trainer. They don't know. But it is the mind. Just try it, ladies. I'm saying just try it. Yes, men are physical creatures. They like what they see. But just try it. Thomas Bailey says, but class is more important than trash. Yes. Lotus Flower says these conversations are so necessary. Make sure you tell a friend. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend. And for me, sometimes I get tired of hearing about what's going on in the world. Although they affect me, they don't affect me as up close and personal. So some of these things that we are doing, the lessons and conversations that we have here affect us up close and personal. So instead of us just sitting here talking about what's going on in the world, two lands over, sometimes I just want to discuss and have good conversation about things that can make us better people right in our own homes. Things that affect us every day. Earl Grey, you can't protect what you can't control, in a sense. In a sense, you're absolutely right. Because if she's going to give you, you ain't my daddy, you don't tell me what to do, you can't protect that. A man can't protect that, nor should he try. If you can't lead her, direct her, redirect her, correct her, you don't need to be putting your life on the line for her. You don't need to be putting your life on the line for her. If women want protection, physical, financial, spiritual protection, doesn't that come with influence and direction? It's the same as we tell our children at times, and I get it. I'm not his child. But when we tell our children things, it's not to hurt them. If you're a good parent, it's not to harm them. It is typically something meant for their own good. Don't go over there. So and so's having a party in the hood. Now you can't go. I'm sorry. That's for protection. That's not as a parent because you don't want your child to be able to have fun. I don't want you dancing. That's not what it is. It's for their protection. And it is the same when it comes to a man. If he's your man, just think about that. Earl Grey Bay says, would you let your daughters borrow the necklace? I don't think so. I don't think they've ever worn it. I don't think I would let them wear it unless I was with them. And, maybe if they get married and they say, oh, mom, something borrowed, maybe. But you want to wear it to prom? Nah. Nope. You want to wear it to go hang out with your friends? No. I can't go for that. I can't go for that. No. No can do. I ain't doing it. E. Will lost everything trying to be a leader. Almost 20 years, no cheating, no abuse. I still don't understand 3 years later why. If it was control, why let it go on for so long? Thank you. SM always making sense. Thank you. A lot of women just don't want to be led. I think Lotus Flower said it the other day. Women want the wedding, but they don't want to be a wife. They don't want to be a wife. They want that princess treatment for that day. Some of them want the princess treatment forever, and they are delusional. So they never even really look into what it takes to be a wife because they're so busy. Oh, let me get the right dress. I got to have the right shoes. My bridesmaids, they have to have the right dress. Picking out the colors and the decorations, but they don't know how to be a wife. Maybe they haven't seen it. Maybe no one is telling them. Maybe they've never read anything in the Bible ever. Maybe they don't believe. Some aren't even interested in learning. Not even interested. It's too much out here to just be clueless and just lost after the wedding day. Stimulated Student says insecure is one of those weaponized shaming words. It really is. I had an instance where I feel like our class, our school in general, where we graduated high school from, we're very close. Like those of us who are older came around like my time and before, we're very close. Like we, for a high school, have a really big homecoming. Tailgating, all the classes raising money. It's a big competition. Which class is going to raise the most to donate back to the school? We have a parade every year. We have a really big homecoming for a high school. Really close. So a lot of friends I've had for how many years since I graduated. A long time. And what I have found is, having to tell male friends, you just can't call me whenever you want, or, it's not 10th grade anymore. When it comes to these weaponized shaming words, men use them too. It's not even just the women, it's the men. He insecure. You with somebody that's insecure, like, geez. He don't even know you, man. This new. This is a new thing we're trying to build. And you feel like you should take precedence over this new thing that's trying to get off the ground. Men try to use that too. He's insecure because you don't want to obey the boundaries of another man over a woman that's not yours. So ladies do use that as a shaming tactic. Thomas Bailey is reminding y'all to hit the like button. Where the light's at? Hit the light. Hey, Grams, you were late. It's okay. Earl Grey says, right now, that's how we protect our men, by not putting them in unnecessary situations, by actually listening to him. Miguel, a man isn't supposed to sit or speak to another man's wife unless the husband is present. Now that's a real boundary, Miguel, that so many do not want to follow. I hadn't even read that when I said even the men will say, oh, he's insecure. You know which men value relationships and marriage by how they treat their female friends, because I do have male friends that say, oh, if this is the boundary, this is the boundary. You don't jeopardize what you are building or this relationship with this husband or fiance or whatever for just some platonic friend. They understand the boundaries and the way it's supposed to be. God, husband, wife, children. And they're not going to try to insert themselves in your life and pull rank. He's insecure. It's the same as women. I'm not going to call somebody that I don't care. We've been friends 30 years. If his wife says she's uncomfortable, that's just what it is. Now, again, because I said we have like this really, really close thing here in Durham, I feel like everybody knows everybody. But for example, that can be an issue. I'm guilty of that, telling you old information. I don't know what you're talking about, Sharisa. Thomas says, in today's society, common sense isn't so common. It's not. I don't want sloppy seconds. That's not my style. Miguel, why do people post personal stuff on social media? You know what I want to know? They do post that. Their whole relationship on social media. But also, why do y'all post this nasty looking food? Sometimes. Some of y'all cannot cook. Please stop opening up a can of corn and putting it on a plate with some chicken tenders talking about dinner. Y'all can't cook. Don't stain your rep, Chica. Exactly. You can't. You have to take care of your reputation. A good name is rather to be chosen than silver and gold or great riches. Sometimes our name is all we have. I really appreciate it when people didn't understand when I started being more conservative, or when they saw that I was pushing Trump, not this go round, but before. People didn't understand that, because it was like, wait a minute, but you're Black. But what I appreciated were the people that said, but I know her. I may not understand it, but I know her, and I know that she's not, just, I don't want to say selling out, because I don't even like that train of thought. But for those people, they knew she's not selling out. We don't get it. We don't understand it, but we know her. And this is just something we don't understand yet. Because I had my name. They knew Shamika, which is why I also don't get in my feelings when people, now I may fuss them out a bit for entertainment purposes, but I'm never hurt to the point where I'm like, oh, I got to get offline. They're calling me a coon, or they're calling me a sellout, or they're telling me I don't like myself, or I don't like Black people. I don't even worry about that. Because I know who I am, and people who know me know who I am. Girl, talk about it. Hanging with single friends will keep your ass single. Many times, they are just miserable people. They don't even know it. They don't even realize it. Just miserable and sad, and want somebody miserable and sad with them. My girlfriend has a saying, don't let a woman with no man tell you what to do with your man, or you'll end up with no man. And I'll go a little bit further, Thomas. Don't let somebody that couldn't get your man or couldn't get you be giving advice. Don't let somebody say, I couldn't have a woman who all the men are people in here. I do Fearless with Jason Whitlock. Sometimes the men in there are complimenting me or saying things. Don't let a man say, I couldn't have a woman that get compliments like that, when you couldn't get me to start with. You don't got to worry about whether or not you could deal with me. You couldn't get me to start with. So I don't let females say, oh, I couldn't have a man that ran out jogging 3-4 mile. I don't know, whatever. Sweetie, you couldn't get him. You couldn't get that. So thank you for your thoughts. You could never pull them to start with. Not interested in your advice. Sharisa said, men love to say birds of a feather flock together. They do say that. But sometimes you have to wonder, look really deep into why they are saying that. Which I don't think I'm just like any of my close friends. They don't think they're just like me. But if she for the streets, you got to say, maybe I don't need to be there. Laughing my ass off at group chats. And yes, I'm telling you, they have group chats around here. I don't know why I've always been the one that's like the homegirl. I can remember my freshman year in college. This guy says, yeah, Nikki is the type that you take to a nice restaurant in a Cadillac. And Shamika, you're the type that you take to McDonald's in a Pinto. And I was so offended. What? Why I can't go to the nice restaurant in the Cadillac? But fast forward years later, like, I don't know, people will just tell me stuff and I be thinking, why are you telling me? But yes, there are group chats, when I was talking to my nephew cousin the other day, he was saying some stuff. I said, wait a minute. He was like, oh, I'm just talking to you. I can be real with you. Maybe not that real. You still, I held you as a baby. You're saying too much. But for some reason, I get information. Stimulated students, women are empathy to everybody, but the men they say they love, or empathetic to everybody, but the men they say they love, or the man they're supposed to be committed to. Some, not all, but most, not most, but many. You don't got to do that, stimulated students. Anybody that comes to this channel needs to have the ability to add their own quantifiers. When you hear something, your brain should automatically add its own quantifiers. If someone says Black people love chitlins, because I don't eat chitlins or I don't eat pork, I already know it's some, not all. So I'm not going to get up there and say, why you say Black people love chitlins? I don't eat chitlins. I don't eat, You got to have that intellectual ability to add your own quantifiers. If it doesn't fit, you must have quit. Earl Grey, what's the other saying that's similar to that? I know you gave it to me last time. I cannot ever remember. Keep going to a barbershop, you're going to end up getting a haircut. Keep hanging with that hoe friend, you're going to end up in a hoe situation. Yeah, got to be careful with that. Thomas Bailey says Jennifer Hudson won the Oscar for Dreamgirls because she's better than Beyonce. They're going to come after you. Hey, the Pope be frank. Now it's at 67% says control. Thank you for joining us today. Ladies, we got to tighten up. We got to stop using that word control and insecure to shame these men because we don't want to fall in line. And I saw a video that said, okay, you don't have to respect that man's boundaries, but he has the right to then go and get with someone who has no problem with those same boundaries. And what I have learned about women, we don't have a problem setting boundaries, and we think it's fine. And it is fine, but I'm saying we have no problems with ourselves setting boundaries. It's only when the other person sets the boundaries that all of a sudden now boundaries are a terrible thing. We don't have a problem setting boundaries. When my woman asks me to wear a certain fade, I'll more than likely do so. If I'm for her admiration, then I'll do what she likes within reason. Why can't men get the same sentiment? Ladies, stimulated students answered you. Earl Grey, the Bay. Yeah. Within reason. Because every now and then, and I know I done had these twists for a minute, but they are so easy. Easy. Earl Grey says, nah, my wigs be ugly sometimes. See, that's what we do here. We're honest. Ah, that's hilarious. Hair is mine. The request for makeup, he wins. So you're not going to change your hair, Misty? What about what stimulated students just said? Go back to that. If you're for his admiration, you can't do, what he want. You can't do what he would like you to do for your hair sometimes. And please, you said you're going to send it, Earl Grey, babe, please. Because, well, you didn't already say it's ugly sometimes, so. Sharisa, how can we tell the difference between control and protection? Being raised by my daddy, sometimes it's hard for me to know the difference. I think we said it good earlier. Control sometimes is just for them. He can tell you when you can eat, when you can't eat. How does he know how your stomach feels? When you can sleep, when you can't sleep, how does he know whether or not you are tired? Now, we all make sacrifices when you're in relationships, but you having to put a toothpick to hold up your eyelids because he's saying you can't sleep, that's control. Protection would say, baby, you need to get some rest. Without rest, you're not good for anybody. What are you eating? That just sitting around eating chips all day, that's not good for you. That's protection. I think you can kind of determine, is it good for you? Or is he just trying to benefit himself? Is he being self-centered? I will also go as far as to say, think about what I think it was Dave Shannon told us last week. Jesus was his example. So, what is it that he's telling you to do? Earl Grey says, I think weddings should be only for the milestone, like you were married 20 years or something. A lot of women end up divorced almost immediately after the hoopla. Just wasting money. You have to be trained how to be a wife, just like a boy has to be trained to be a man. There's just a lack of training. There's a lack of training, people. Hi, Jimmy Traces. Thank you for being here. Every man has a right to have his wife only talk to him. I'm in media, and I think also too circumstances can change that. I work for men. We have a show where we run our mouths. Sometimes that's how we come up with things that we're going to discuss. So it's different for every person. Y'all see this gnat right here? That is really ticking me off. Oh my gosh, Shamika's so true. Women be talking to their male friends who they friend zone about their man, and that man is nothing like their man. I had to realize this myself one day. Yes. Stimulated students. The Bible kind of says birds of a feather flock together in many different ways. I missed something. What now? If I was your brother, would have had to caught these hands. Pinto and McDonald's. Oh, that's an insult. Oh. Well, he was a college student. We had to be like, I was 17 when I went to college, so I guess he was 18. And, he didn't know how to express himself. But I now, fast forward, I understand. I'm just very easy to talk to or get along with. That's funny. Thomas, you would start before you ate chitlins. Shamika, you are reading old messages. I know. Okay. Marriage is a form of lordship. When a woman decides to marry a man, she's agreeing that he is to rule over her. There's more details to it, but that's the basis of the concept. Absolutely. My hair natural. If they want straight, no. I mean, it can still be natural. What if he wants it straight for just like a week? Would you do that? Anyway, I'm reading old messages. So says Sharisa. And it's time for us to get out of here. Ladies, protection comes with boundaries. If you can't handle a man's boundaries, maybe you don't actually want protection. Maybe you just want control. And if you can't tell the difference between protection and control, then you probably can't recognize what men actually want from you either. Tomorrow, we're going deeper. What men really want, how they test women for red flags, and why so many of you fail. You fail those tests without even knowing it. And then you wonder, I hear so many people say, we were together 5 years. And then he got in this other relationship and they've been together 2 months and they're getting married. You failed some tests and he made you a placeholder because you didn't know what he actually wanted. You didn't want to probably follow those boundaries. So he got somebody who would. Anyway, join us tomorrow to see what else makes me shake my head. Head shakers. Same place, same time. Don't forget, Lotus Flower herself will be on here on Friday. We're going to be chatting it up, revisiting spaces, safe spaces. When we had the little debate, whose fault is it? Lotus says it's all y'all white people's fault. That'll be Friday. But I'll see y'all here tomorrow. Thank you. I love you, head shakers. Peace. Oh, wait. Khalees, what was the last thing of the poll? What percent did we come in? You can't see it anymore? Anybody see the poll? I can't see the poll in here. What was the last number? I think the Pope B. Frank gave us, we were at 60 something women. Either way, we got to do better. I'm out of here. Love.